Greetings from Cybertron. This is SoundJack here with another episode of SoundJack's Rambles. And today I'm joined by Alyssa.
Hello.
And we're here to talk about Pokemon Colosseum.
Yeah, we've been subtly talking about it.
Yes.
The past, months.
Yes.
But now we're actually going to talk about it.
Yes.
Pokemon Sword and Shield is just around the corner. It's less than a month away, or a little more than a month away. So that's why you've been seeing a lot of Pokemon content on this channel, but we promise it won't be like that for much longer. We will talk about something else other than Pokemon on this podcast at some point.
Yeah, at some
but
point.
For now, it's a Pokemon world and we're living in it.
Yeah. It's Pokemon world and we're all living in it.
Is that an actual song? Or are you just singing?
I was riffing off the theme song of Milo Murphy's Law.
Oh. I don't know how that goes.
It's okay. It's okay.
And I do not know. Is it a theater thing? Is it a Broadway tune?
No. It's a TV show. It's on Disney Channel, made by the same people that made Phineas and Ferb, and is in fact canon with Phineas and Ferb.
Oh, that show! Yes, you've mentioned it to me before.
Yes, and Weird Al is
not watched it yet.
The voice of the main character.
Who is?
Weird Al.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad he's doing something fun.
Yes. Anyway, not what we're talking about. Pokemon Colosseum.
No. Pokemon Colosseum, yes.
I believe, first Pokemon game for the GameCube.
Yes. Yes.
Wait a second, hold on. I could totally be lying. Games. Oh, Pokemon Box and Pokemon Channel came out before them.
Oh.
Also, technically, Smash Bros. Melee.
Yeah, for getting technical, I guess.
Yeah.
So Smash Bros. Is a Pokemon game? Have we, solidly declared that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is a Pokemon game first and foremost.
But it's basically the first traditional.
Yes.
I'm using a lot of air quotes here. RPG style, Pokemon game on the GameCube.
Yes. Of which there are two, and I cannot wait to show Alyssa XD Gale of Darkness. But on that note, actually, before we really get into this, Alyssa, how were you introduced to this game?
So I was aware of this game's existence for a long time because I had friends who had GameCubes who were also into Pokemon. So I knew about Colosseum, I knew about XD Yellow Darkness. I never played them because I never had a GameCube. So these kind of passed me by. But I finally got the chance to, thanks to Michael and his copy, and the fact that my Wii has GameCube functionality, and also it was for our gaming channel, RDSJ Gaming. Please go check it out if you haven't yet. I've mentioned it so many times.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Please go check it out. Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna stop plugging it. But yeah, so it was a thing I was always aware of, but it was never something I interacted with, really.
Yeah.
And I pretty much went into this game pretty much blind. The only things I really knew about, even before you talked about it, Michael, was that your starters were the were Espeon and Umbreon. That's all. That's the only thing I knew.
Okay. Yep.
About this game going in.
Yeah. And as for me, I bought the game some point after it came out. I had just kind of started getting into Pokemon at that point. And I heard this was a thing, and then I forget exactly when I got it. I don't know if I asked my parents for it for Christmas or my birthday, or if I just begged my parents during the year at some point and they got it. But I believe I basically got the GameCube for this game.
Oh.
Yeah. We had some other games as well. A bowling game that we did a bunch. But yeah, I got this and I played this quite a fair bit. And then when XD came out, I'm like, yes. And then I moved over to there because that's better.
Gotcha.
XD, I will say this right now, XD improves on a number of things in this game. I will try not to, if you have criticisms, I will not try to say too much if they are improved in the next game or not, to leave you in suspense.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because I haven't played the sequel, as you can probably guess. So yes, you've had a lot of history with this game. I have 0, which is honestly very rare between us. Like either it's, what is going on? Oh, I think my mom's using a pencil sharpener. I was like, who's drilling something? Anyway.
Okay.
Oh my god, I don't know if you could. Oh no, that's a shredder. Oh, I'm so sorry. Can you hear that? Can you hear that in the background?
I can't hear it on my end.
Oh, okay. So maybe it's just me. Yeah. Sorry, never mind. Anyway, more important things. Like I normally when we talk about video games on this channel, it's either a game that we both were sort of introduced to at the same time, or it's a game that I've played and he hasn't.
Yes.
Like, it's rarely ever the other way around.
Yes.
Because I've played more video games than he has. But yeah. Basically, we so it was really fun. I mean, to reverse the standard, as it were. Yeah. Yes. So now, after we've done that, what are our basic thoughts on the game before we get into the deets?
At the time it came out, I really did enjoy this game because I was able to see the Pokemon in their 3D, and at the time it looked so good. And then we come back afterwards. Okay, I'm just gonna say that that's probably gonna be like the point I'll jump to next. Is like this game's still really good, and I still had a lot of fun watching Alyssa play through it, even though there are issues.
Yeah, I do have some issues with this game that we will definitely get into. But is that all you wanted to say about Colosseum before we jump in?
Yes.
Or?
Yes.
Okay. So for my non-spoiler opinion, I'm gonna say I liked my time. It's a Pokemon game. Very few, like, I haven't played. There hasn't been really a Pokemon game that I've played that I thought was absolute garbage. I mean, granted, if a game looks like it's gonna be garbage, I try not to play it.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, that's actually such a lie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, knowing
that's
you.
Such a lie. That is an absolute lie. I have bought and played games that I knew was gonna be trash, but I did it anyway.
Yep.
But like, you know what I mean? Like those kind of games that I feel like are just gonna be like frustratingly bad or like just kind of bland.
Yeah.
Not like the kind of games that I think will like make me laugh. Pokemon, like typically Pokemon games, I don't really have much patience or need to play those games that I think will be bad. If it just doesn't interest me, it doesn't interest me. But Colosseum was fine. It was a fine, fun game. I don't think it's anywhere near my favorites in terms of like my when it comes to Pokemon in general. In terms of side games, I mean, I haven't played a lot of the side games, but I would say that for me, Mystery Dungeon is like cream of the crop. In terms of side games or spin-off games.
Yeah.
And Colosseum is like, I guess, under that for me. But to each their own, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's not it. I don't want it to sound like I like don't like this game. It's just, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was a good time. But why don't we jump into it? What do we want to talk about first?
What's different about this game from from the Game Boy games around this time?
Was that a rhetorical question, or did you want me to answer?
I wanted you to answer.
Oh, Okay.
In case the audience
so,
doesn't know what Pokemon Colosseum's about.
Right. So this game is so there's a lot that's different. So even though it's the basic gist in the sense that you battle, you gain experience, you have a team of 6, you have boss fights, you have grunt battles, you have an evil team, you have items,
Yeah.
TMs. I don't think is there a move tutor in this game? I don't know if there's a move tutor in this game.
I don't think in Colosseum. I know there is an XD.
Okay, so no move tutor, but that's also not too strange. Catching Pokemon, nicknaming Pokemon, like basically most of the like essential Pokemon stuff is in this game. So it's not like super radically different. However, there are some big differences. The biggest difference is that every single fight is a double battle instead of the traditional single battle format. So that, I think, at least in my opinion, really changes the dynamic of how you approach team making in this game. The other thing, too, is that you don't have any of the 3 starters that you normally would get. You get your starter Pokemon. You get 2, in fact. Your starter Pokemon are Espeon and Umbreon, and they're both at level 25 when you first start the game. So, you really start right off the bat. So in some ways, this game is probably a little shorter than most Pokemon games.
Yeah.
In terms of how long the story takes, because you're starting out level 25. So, and like the world is a little smaller. So like, it makes sense. And then the other thing is that the biggest change, hugest change to the actual mechanics of the game, because double battles had already existed by this point.
Yeah.
But Generation 3 introduced them, and I mean, like, leveling is still the same. It's just at a different point. The real big change is that you do not catch any wild Pokemon. This region doesn't have any wild Pokemon. It's part of the like whole thing. It's like a desert. I would get into the science about how they're wrong, but that's the thing, is that it's a desert, so there's no wild Pokemon. But so instead, the way you catch Pokemon is by snagging them from the evil team that you're facing against. So there'd be Pokemon called Shadow Pokemon. They have this weird aura that only your friend can see. Your friend, I forget her canon name. The fish-eyed lady, as I called her in the first few episodes.
Rui.
Rui.
R-U-I.
Rui is she can sense the auras. So, but basically, there's an aura. You have to catch them while in battle, as opposed to it being during a trainer battle, as opposed to it being a wild battle. And then from there, you have to purify them, which basically means it's kind of like raising their friendship, in that like you can do things like walk around with them, battle with them, and it'll clear out their purification bar. And then you have to go to a special place to purify them, and then that's how you get your Pokemon. So that's the biggest change, I'd say, in this game when compared to the other titles.
Yeah.
Do you think that's fair?
Yeah.
Okay. And is there any other changes that I missed that are major to mention? I think that covers most of them.
It's the first game since Gold and Silver to not have female character option.
Oh, yeah. I was a little upset about that. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It's a little rough. And I guess, I don't know, I don't think breeding's in this game, right?
Now breeding. Also, your character starts the game out by blowing up a base and riding away on his motorbike.
That is the most impractical motorbike I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
It is absolute nonsense. But yeah, it's basically, they really go into the like early 2000s like punk attitude kind of. They kind of dip into that well. He's definitely a like shonen anime protagonist.
Yes.
Like, if you imagine your, like, typical shonen anime protagonist, that's the West. That's his design. That's his whole thing.
Yes.
That's his whole character. So, and actually that kind of brings me to another problem that I have with this game, but we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we want to mention about this game.
Wrong. I was going to say first game with 3D models, but Pokemon Stadium and Stadium
Pokemon
2
Stadium
also hit those.
one.
As well as Todd Snap as Pokemon Snap.
Yes.
But it... and a lot of the Generation 1, Generation 2 models were bought from this game, but Generation 3 got a whole boatload of new models, and they looked clean.
Yeah, I mean, like, for the graphics-wise, for a PS2 era game.
Yeah.
I go PS2 because, like, that's what I played during those years, but
yeah.
like around that time frame, the graphics are pretty good. I wouldn't say they're, like, really pushing graphic limits, but they're also not, like, bad. They're just average for the time, I'd say. And I mean, definitely a step up in comparison to Stadium and Snap, so.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else? I mean, like I said, everything else gameplay-wise is pretty much the same as, you know, any other Pokemon game. And then, let's see. So, is there anything we wanted to talk about the, like, plot or the story?
Yeah, let's talk about the plot, because in this game you don't have gym battles.
No,
your singular objective is taking down the evil team and rescuing the shadow Pokemon.
Yes. Yes, there's no competition.
There are stadiums in this game.
But,
Colosseums, but
don't confuse your games, man.
Yeah.
They are stadiums.
Yeah, they're basically stadiums. They are called Colosseums properly. But that's the main, like, battling area of the games. You can win prizes from it, mainly cash prizes after you complete your first time through, but you also get a couple of TMs and whatnot. And yeah, stadiums are interesting, and of course, like the Stadium games, they were designed to be able to interact with your current games, and then you can fight each other in these stadiums.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Though I feel like there could have been some more variety.
In the stadiums?
Yes.
That's fair enough. How many are there in there? 5?
7.
7.
6.
Okay.
6. Sorry. 1, 2.
Oh, 6. Yeah, and especially considering that those are the only places that you could literally battle anyone, like, after you completed the game, or if you're trying to grind, then yeah, it can get kind of repetitive facing the same people over and over and over again.
And the grinding was rough because, like, what was the first Colosseum we were grinding at, and everything was like level 40, and we were just at like the upper 20s. At the Fennec Colosseum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty rough. Yeah, some of the leveling was a little wonky in this game.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Sorry. And like the story, I think just the plot wise, the story is basically the same as any other Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I guess the only novel thing is that the main protagonist is kind of is allied with the bad guys at first. Like, yeah. Like he's said to be part of Team Snag'em. Mm-hmm. Who's the evil team for this game, technically.
Well, no,
sort of.
Team Cypher is predominantly the evil team for the game.
Yeah. So he was part of, like, some thugs, and then he makes out with their snag machine, and then so he's kind of got, like, that, like, anti-hero, huge quotations about him in a way that other Pokemon protagonists don't.
Yes.
Which is also, like, if we're going to talk about plot, I'd say honestly that Wes's that backstory is kind of a problem that I have with the way the game is portrayed, in the sense that Wes is like supposed to be like all other Pokemon protagonists, where it's a silent protagonist and it's supposed to be you, basically. Yeah. Like, that's been the case for all of Pokemon history, for the most part. Like, there are, like, even in, like, side games, like a Mystery Dungeon. Well, no, not even then. Even in Mystery Dungeon, you're not silent. You don't speak, but your character has dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, internal dialogue, but dialogue.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, I think the fact that Wes has such a specific backstory like that kind of detracts from the silent protagonist thing.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, silent protagonists only really work if you create a scenario where a person can really easily sort of put themselves in the character's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, Link, I think Legend of Zelda does the silent protagonist really well, in that they're able to balance between giving Link some kind of character while still leaving enough gaps for people to either put themselves in his shoes or sort of connect the dots, you know?
Yeah.
Like you've played Breath of the Wild. Like,
yes.
You felt that Link was his own character, but you never felt like he wasn't relatable, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and so for me, silent protagonists kind of need to be pretty bare bones in terms of their character.
Yeah.
And a lot of the specificity in who they are is pretty vague. And that's especially a key with Pokemon, right? Your backstory in Pokemon is pretty normal in most cases, right?
Yeah.
You know, like you're sometimes you're just a kid going off on an adventure. You have a mom and a mom, maybe a dad, depending on the game.
Yep.
A lot of them are like, you're the new kid in the neighborhood. Some of them you're not, but like a lot of those scenarios are very relatable. Like, a lot of people have been the new kid, or have lived in the same town and have friends and rivals and stuff like that. So, like, even if the specifics aren't the same, it's still very easy to sort of assume the main character is you.
Yes. And
I would argue, outside of Red, most of the other protagonists, at least in the games, and I'm not including Pokemon Masters in the anime in this, most of the games, the protagonists don't have any real character.
Yeah.
I would argue. Red is an exception because Red was the first one.
Yeah.
So, like, he has been sort of... He does have a character in that way. But I'd say, like pretty much any of the other Pokemon games, like, the main protagonist really doesn't have much character to them.
Yeah.
Because they're supposed to be you.
Yes.
So, to me, Wes's backstory is not normal. He's a juvenile delinquent. He has no parents. Who the hell knows where he lives? No one. He might be an orphan for all we know.
Yeah.
We don't know why he's going after the Snaga, why he defected from the group, or why he's going after the purification thing. And I mean, on some level, you can argue that he's going against it because, like, he's righteous, but, like, I don't know, having a backstory where you are having such a specific backstory creates a character that kind of doesn't allow you to really sink into his shoes, you know? Like, How many people playing this game can relate to being, like, doing what he's doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if they wanted to have this sort of cool, edgy character, they should have just given him a character. They should have just made him, give him a voice, make him a character, and have you play as him like that.
Yeah.
And if you didn't want to do that, then just make him like a normal blank slate type of person.
Yes.
Because, to me, Wes's design kind of screams marketing decision and less story cohesion, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I get you.
And yeah, so I don't know. Do you have any like thoughts on Wes? Because that's my big like in terms of just the plot. That was like my big thing.
I mean, when I first played it, I just played through it, just being like, yeah, this is all fine. This is all good. This is all dandy. Only when we just replayed it, I realized, oh my goodness, he is such an edgelord. That's
yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just, for the most part, I was there for the game. Wes, and I was just like, cool, I blew up their base, and I was apparently a part of them. That's fine. Cool, whatever. We can ignore that, because I'm now him.
Right.
I mean, I was younger, so I was more able to easily absorb that concept. But,
right.
Yeah. Though, and again, with Rui, I don't really remember too much of my thoughts about her initially. I just thought like, okay, this is fine. And then we get through the game, we're like, everyone's like trying to ship them, and then she's like into it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Girl, you're gonna fall at the feet of any dude that rescues you.
Yeah, I don't know. Rui was also kind of hit and miss. I mean, to be honest, she kind of reminded me of a lot of the like companions that you find in Zelda games.
Mm-hmm.
Like Navi, Tattle, Midna. Well, she's not like Midna at all. Midna is like way better. Hashtag Midna's great. Fight me. What other games have but like she sort of functions the same way as those companions do in Zelda, in that they provide kind of like a voice. Like they sort of allow for conversation between the characters to happen. They facilitate conversation so that the protagonist isn't just sitting there like staring dead-eyed at someone, you know?
Yeah.
Because like when you have a silent protagonist like with Link who really doesn't talk. No, they can't talk, he just doesn't.
Yeah.
On screen at least. Like typically they have to be really clever about what they show you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's typically why at least from dialogue perspective, why the companions are really popular in Zelda games is because they allow for like, it's easier to communicate, or it's easier for dialogue to flow in those games. To me, I think the reason why, or one of the reasons why Rui is even there, is so that like conversations can happen. So I don't know. She's very hit or miss with me. Like on one hand, I'm happy that we have some kind of female protagonist, but on the other hand, she's very anime waifu kind of. Not really, but like she's kind of there in that she's just kind of there to be supportive.
Yeah.
In a lot of the ways that anime waifus are just kind of there to be supportive.
Yeah.
But at least she has a character, which better than nothing, I guess.
But those aren't the only characters we interacted with through the game. There were plenty of other characters as well. Are there any ones in particular you wanted to talk about?
Well, to me, the only characters that were like super hugely memorable were the team admins of Cypher. All 4 of them, 5 of them were fairly memorable.
Yeah.
Mirror B was, good lord, that is a man I will never forget. I will be on my deathbed, and I will be just saying, Mirror B, what a game character.
Yeah.
He's so memorable, so flamboyant, so disco.
Yes.
And his Ludicolo army is very formidable, and man, that boss fight absolutely sucked.
Yes.
Hold on one second. What were we saying? Mirror B.
Mirror B.
Mirror B, very memorable. Venus, also pretty memorable. Not as much. She was kind of like just your generic mad scientist, but
yeah,
still memorable. Nazgul was basically just Sephiroth, but like remove all the interesting backstory and like intrigue from Sephiroth.
Oh yes. Yes.
Like, okay, like not like look. I mean, like, am I wrong though? I
No.
feel like I'm not wrong. Like, he's basically just like Sephiroth, but if they got him in a bargain bin.
Yeah.
And then of course Evice is also very memorable.
What about
this like
Dakim?
clown looking dude. Oh yeah, Dakim. Dakim was also up there in terms of memorability. He scared me a couple times. He was huge and lumbering.
Yep.
With like red hair and
Yep.
the tightest bodysuit on a dude ever.
Yes.
But yeah, yes, very memorable man. Excuse me. Some of the others, I mean, like some of the other people were pretty memorable. Mayor Duking, I remember him.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. Most of the protagonists weren't too memorable. I think I remember Justy more for that really tough gym fight.
Yeah.
More than the kid's character, but yeah, I'd say that most of the like allies were fairly bland, whereas the villains were pretty like super memorable.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe there's a protagonist or an ally that stood out to you.
No, not really.
I mean, I guess the only other one would be Rue's grandpa.
Yeah.
It's only because because you introduced me that weird theory that he's Ash, which
yes.
I don't believe at all.
Agreed.
like okay, guys.
Yeah.
Look, there are more people. Ash isn't the only one who uses a Pikachu. Like, come on.
Yes.
He does not have the whole market on Pikachu, guys.
Yeah.
But like I think the villains are, and I think part of the reason why the allies were so bland was because, well, A, you don't really have a rival in the same way you do in other Pokemon games.
Yeah.
And B, there are no gym leaders. And the gym leaders tend to be the more memorable folks.
Yes.
In the series, as well as Elite Four and Champions tend to be pretty memorable, but like there's no equivalent to that in this game. So
besides the evil team.
Yeah. But the evil team is literally the only people who are super memorable. To me at least.
I concur.
Yeah, and I think as far as the boss echelon of Ice is pretty memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd say he beats out Lysander. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'll say that he beats out Lysander.
Yeah.
If
cool.
people have a problem with that, they can at me on Twitter. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Go at her on Twitter. But I will defend her.
Oh, thanks. Sorry, hold on. I had to close my door.
You're good.
Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, but
so I
just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, specific question for you.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel about the Pokemon variety in this game? Since there wasn't, since you didn't have the option to catch wild Pokemon, you had a very limited selection. How did it feel to you?
So I'm very of two minds about it. On one hand, the limited options kind of forces you to make a lot of like narrow decisions about who's going to be on your team, and you might be forced to use a Pokemon that you probably wouldn't have used at all. Like we used Entei on our team, and I don't think I've ever played through a game of Pokemon with a legendary just on my team. Well, no, that's a lie. My first ever Pokemon team, I had my Kyogre when I went to basically Elite Four and Champion.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I've never gone through the whole game with. But even then, like I only had the Kyogre on me towards the very end of it. I didn't have like you get your Entei like I'd say halfway through the game, right?
Yeah.
About so like I had that Entei on the team for about half of the game, so that's a long time to have a legendary on your team.
Yes.
That was definitely different. But on the other hand, I don't really see people building a lot of variety in their teams with this kind of game.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like if I were to look for a playthrough of people playing through this game, I feel like their teams would be very similar to ours.
Mm-hmm.
I don't imagine. I mean, like there could be more variety. I'm not saying there isn't, but
yeah,
like not as much as even if I were playing just a regular Gen 3 game like Ruby Sapphire, like there'd be way more variety in the kind of teams you can make just with that.
Yes.
So I was fine with it. Also, especially, I also want to emphasize this, especially since this game relies so heavily on double battles, I feel like having a wider variety of Pokemon would have made the double battle mechanic more interesting. Because then you could create more interesting team dynamics, but I don't know. It's also, I don't know. I would have preferred like a more general or more a wider variety of Pokemon personally.
Yeah.
And I do think that the limited amount of Pokemon kind of made the amount of team customization very slim.
Yes.
At least in my opinion. What about you?
It's harder for me because I played this so long ago. So to me, a lot of the stuff is just, that's just how the game is. It's a good game. It's just how it is.
Right.
So it's harder for me to make a statement on that kind of a thing, which is why I specifically asked you about it.
Right.
So I wouldn't have, honestly, I wouldn't have a really good answer one way or the other.
Okay. That makes sense. I understand. I understand how you feel. It can be really hard if you grew up playing a game to like really step back and kind of evaluate it.
Yeah.
Objectively, if at all possible, which
yes.
it isn't, but like, you know what I mean? Like, kind of step back from your own memories and sort of evaluate the game from different perspectives. So I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I would have, it could have used, it's not like, and it's weird because it's not like they didn't have the models, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they had like, again, all of the stadium models. They did make quite a few Gen 3 and Gen 2 Pokemon, or Gen 3 Pokemon too. So
they would have had to make all of them. They had to make all of them so those games could be compatible to play battles against each other.
So to me, it's not a matter of, they didn't have the time or the space. They could have, I think they probably could have programmed you to be able to catch all the Pokemon if they wanted throughout the course of the game.
Yeah.
They just didn't.
But admittedly, part of the reason this game and XD Gale of Darkness exists is so you have the ability to literally catch all of the Pokemon in Generation 3.
Yeah. And like, I mean, like, it does feel like they did build sort of the story around their mechanics, and catching Pokemon mid-battle does add, I guess, a different dimension to battling, because, like, instead of just focusing on, I need to beat all of them, there'd be a time where you'd have to, like, be more strategic about, like, about how much damage you put on the Pokemon.
Yes. So
in that respect, I'm fine with that change. But on the other hand, I do feel like, I don't know, I do think the trade-off of not being able to catch as many Pokemon does hurt the game, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since all the Pokemon are there to be captured, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like they aren't.
Correct. So. And another thing that will probably be more a specifically you question.
Sure.
The shadow Pokemon, more so in how they functioned, how they worked. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's, to me, I think if this were a more normal game, i.e. there wasn't, like, the increase in level and there were more Pokemon. Like, if you were to, like, let's say we were to take, let's say we assume the Sword and Shield, the new game that's coming out, has a shadow Pokemon mechanic like this one in the game.
Yeah.
I think in that scenario, to me, this shadow Pokemon would have to be like an add-on kind of thing, and would probably work the same way. Like they were able to implement shadow Pokemon pretty well in Pokemon Go.
Yes.
Right, where it's this special event. You have to purify the shadow Pokemon, but in return you get a Pokemon that's like more powerful or has something special about it in comparison to any other Pokemon you can catch in the wild.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think that shadow Pokemon probably works best in that way.
Uh-huh.
Like I think the mechanic probably feels best suited to that. Because I think otherwise, if you were to have every Pokemon you catch be a shadow Pokemon, then you're adding another layer of sort of leveling up or experience that you wouldn't need otherwise. Now, I do know that, like, in the way it works is, like, you gain all the experience you would have gotten if the Pokemon was purified already. So you're not losing anything. But I don't know, it's just kind of like an unnecessary extra step to getting your Pokemon.
Yeah.
That I don't think a normal Pokemon game really needs.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I think it works for this game because they were able to build the story around the mechanics, so it doesn't feel like it's out of place. But part of me also feels that the Shadow Pokemon mechanic kind of does double duty in the sense that it is part of the story, but it also kind of provides some padding to the game.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like I don't think it's a bad mechanic. Again, I think it works really well in Pokemon Go. Like I think they're able to implement it really well. But I don't see it being this like really neat mechanic that would work well outside of this specific scenario, unless they implemented it the same way they did with Pokemon Go, where it's like, here's this special Pokemon that there's another layer of unlocking you have to do in order to get it.
Yeah.
Which to me makes sense. But if it's just for some normal Pokemon that isn't even that useful, then like, why bother?
Yes.
So, like, and also considering, also the other thing too about Shadow Pokemon is that until you can get them purified, they're very useless. Not useless, but like for a while it's like you only have Shadow Rush and like another move, and it takes a while for all the good moves to get unlocked. So it definitely feels like unlocking the Shadow Pokemon is sort of a process that they added to kind of compensate for not having as much game content, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, okay, so yeah, in summary, I think Shadow Pokemon as a concept, and if they make edits to it, could work outside of this game, i.e. Pokemon Go. But there's nothing about the Shadow Pokemon that I think improves the Pokemon formula. Does that make sense? Like I think it works in this game. I think they made it work well in this game, but it is kind of cumbersome in a way that I think would only make sense if you're going to get something worthwhile out of the time you put into it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think in this game, it's kind of more just like an obstacle that you on your way to success, rather than an extra layer that you have to put in to get a better character or a better Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I hope I'm making sense.
No, I think it makes sense.
But that's my thoughts on Shadow Pokemon.
Okay.
And I think cool concept, probably could be better in execution.
Yeah. Okay. I will say one onion I have, and just with the game in general, is how long the battles take.
Oh my god, the battles take so long, yeah.
Because, and like people are complaining, oh, they didn't put in fully animated things for Sword and Shield, and I'm like, do you want battles to take this long? Because that's how battles take this long. Though while I say that, I also think there are a lot more fun idle animations for Pokemon in these.
Yeah, yeah.
Like as
I agree
like
with that too.
yeah, like Espeon, instead of just being in a standard four-legged animal standing pose, it's sitting down. Um,
hmm
the ones I love the most, just because it's just a minor thing, but it's so funny, is how in Solrock and Lunatone's idle animation, Solrock will just rise up and then rise down, like it's just the sun setting,
Oh
and
my
then
god.
Lunatone just goes in a full circle like it's orbiting the Earth,
That's really cute.
and just
Yeah, no, I think the Pokemon animations in this game are full of a lot of character.
yeah,
Um, even more so than I think in the main slime games. And I mean that makes sense. They had less Pokemon to animate, so they could probably get have some fun with the animations. But in the other games, you have got like way more Pokemon that you have to make models for and animate. So I understand why they can't have like as expressive of idle animations.
yeah.
And also, I mean, they also have like the Pokemon Refresh, Me, that app, whatever it's called in this game. It'll probably be called something different, but like the same thing.
It's Pokemon camping.
Yeah. So like you can interact with your Pokemon, and that's kind of I think where they put a lot of the personality in their animations. But yeah, it does take a long time. Crunch, oh my god, that move took so long.
Yep.
You have to wait for the jaw to open.
And then you gotta
like that. It felt like I could like make a sandwich while I was waiting for that move to
and then you gotta wait for it to see the shadowy drool drip.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
so it just kind of makes battles go on, and like it's charming when you first see it, but after you're like just trying to fight, it can get a little lengthy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a trade-off, right? Like, do you value like fun, interesting animations, or do you value efficiency? And trying to balance those two, I think, is important. But I do think they are kind of on the longish side. I don't think we need to have Crunch take as long as it did.
Yeah.
So that's just my opinion.
No, yeah. But overall, I mean, I still, despite that, still remember having a lot of good fun with these battles, this game, just playing through it, and I loved playing through it again with you as someone new and fresh, and even with your issues and problems with the game, it seemed like you had a lot of fun during the playthrough.
Yeah. Like I think a lot of I kind of approach this game the way I approach a lot of like flawed but enjoyable games. I think it's I think there were a lot of fun things to keep me invested, even though I had problems. So for example, like some other problems I wanted to address, like really quickly, the move pools in this game were super shallow.
But that's just the thing from Generation 3.
But like, yeah, like that's kind of just sort of when you play any older Pokemon game, you're like, why? I'd say from Pokemon, I'd say from Gen 4 on, that's kind of where the sweet spot happens, like where you have enough moves where it's like, okay, Gen 3 back, like Gen 3 I can tolerate in terms of the shallowness of the move pools. Gen 2 and Gen 1 are just kind of sad.
They're so painful.
But like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So that's kind of a sad thing, and also the return of of TMs. TMs
of one-use TMs,
and I'm really happy they got rid of that when they did, because
it
just really makes team building more difficult than it needs to be. But at least we had a lot of cash, so that made buying TMs a lot easier than it probably would have been otherwise.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of your other complaints. Or like here's like a flaw that was enjoyable. The translation in this game. The dialogue was very weirdly worded. This wasn't developed by Game Freak. This was developed by Genius Sonority.
Yes.
And I'm not sure how the localization works. Like, I don't know if Nintendo of America localizes it. I don't know if, like, Genius Sonority did a localization. I don't know who localized this game. But whoever it did, it was not nearly as crisp or as good as it is in the other games.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of weird because there are some times where, like, I'm playing the Pokemon when I'm playing the game, and I can kind of tell that the wording probably sounds better in Japanese than it does in English. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just kind of the way the words work out. You're like, oh, you could tell it wasn't originally written in English.
Yeah.
Whereas it is a translation, and that's kind of how it works out in like any game that's being translated, right? Like,
yeah.
It's never going to be as perfect of an experience as reading the original. In terms of intent, I'd say.
Correct.
But I'd say the quality of the translation between the main series Game Freak developed games and the Genius Sonority developed games are night and day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the translations in this game are just like, there were some times in the playthrough where we were like read through something, we're like, what does that mean?
Yep.
Like, is that what are they saying? Like, oh, yeah. So it was funny to laugh at that. Like, that was a funny laugh. And I could see someone arguing that like that's a flaw and it detracts from the game experience. And in some ways, it does. Like in theory, a game like this is trying to go for accuracy and actual or good translation as opposed to a botched one. Now, of course, I'm not saying that the translation in this game is as bad as like it's not horrendous. It's not like I can't understand. Like, it's not like it's broken English and no one knows what people are saying.
Yes.
But it's also clearly not as high quality as Game Freak. So, it's just something that happens, I guess. Also, the names were really weird.
Yes. So weird. Yeah.
The names were also like weird. I don't know why they were weird. I don't know if it was weird because of the develop. Like, I don't know if that was like an intentional choice or what.
Yeah.
They're very funny names.
Yes.
There was only like a couple that were like modestly normal, like Willie.
Yeah.
Or Nora, I think was one.
Yeah.
Normal name. Yeah, there were a couple. Not many though.
No.
Like in the I don't know.
Yeah.
IDK. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that was like a major flaw or a strength that I wanted to bring up.
The music.
Oh, the music was pretty good. I don't know if I played a Pokemon game that had bad music, so
True.
That, it's not a break-in formula, I'd say.
No.
I guess I played Pokemon games that have kind of lackluster music.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. Gen 6's tunes aren't particularly too memorable to me.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. I don't know. Well, I guess there's a couple that I can hum if I think about it hard enough. But
yeah.
But I don't know. For some reason, like Gen 6's like tunes kind of like melt out of my head, whereas like Gen 7 and Gen 5 back are like I can name a tune from each of them.
Yeah, I feel like it might be in part.
I don't know if that's how you feel about it, but
I feel like Gen 6 got the shrift in a lot of ways because Pokemon was like, we got to get a new game, a new generation out for the 20th anniversary. And we're like,
yeah.
But what about Zygarde? And we're like, just throw it in the new games.
Yeah.
Like,
Gen
okay.
7's honestly what Gen 6 was probably wanted to be,
yeah.
but never was.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yes.
I think that's probably the reason why X and Y never saw a sequel, a threequel, or a sequel game. They just moved straight on to Ruby Sapphire, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I'm not to say that nothing good came out of Gen 6. We got Fairy Type, we got Mega Evolutions, we got Greninja, the Greninja. I mean,
The Greninja.
Friggin', who was I thinking of? Surpluff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Klefki. Oh, my boy Klefki. Can't forget about her.
Yep.
Your Gorgeist.
Yes.
Your Trevenant.
Gorgeist, Trevenant. But we're getting way off topic.
We are. My point is that these tunes are definitely pretty memorable. I think Pyrite's talent's music with the snaps was fun.
Mirror B though.
Mirror B's music was pretty funny. It's really weird because he has an afro, so I thought his music style would be more disco-y, but it was more like Latin.
Yeah.
Not flamenco music.
No.
Like Latin-ish, Caribbean maybe.
Yeah.
Something in that genre. I don't know.
Yeah.
That kind of music. Whereas all the other music was kind of actually to me the problem with the music was that there were definitely a couple times where there was just like nothing. Like I think the NASCAR fight there was just no music.
Yeah, that's right.
It's weird. And like I mean I'm not saying that every moment in a Pokemon game needs to have a soundtrack, but
that's a moment that should.
Yeah, right. That one was very awkward. So yeah. So I think the battle music was the intense battle music was pretty lame, except for Mirror B, the final advice fight. I think was they had an actual theme for that. Honestly, my favorite battle music was Mirror B's battle music, and then also just like your generic battle music.
Yeah,
that stuff was like peppy and like nice to listen to.
Yeah,
and it was good on the ears. But the music that listens when you're fighting, you listen to when you're fighting against like one of the admins that's not Mirror B.
Yeah,
that music was kind of just like very slow, and I get it was trying to be like tense.
Yeah.
But I think it was tense in a good way. I didn't really feel very tense when I was listening to it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I get you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Do you have anything else to particularly comment about?
I'm really sorry. I just saw a message. Like I was looking at my screen and like something that my friend sent me popped up, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" Oh my god. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. Oh, we gotta talk about our team, boy.
Yes.
We gotta talk about our team. Our team was stellar AF.
Yes.
So because we were playing this publicly, I guess, we decided to make our team themed, or I did. I made the decision. We decided to do it. I decided to theme my names, and we themed them after capitals.
Yep.
Because I'm obsessed with geography, I guess. So everything was named after either state or international capital. The final team, the only Pokemon we didn't nickname was Entei, just because I don't nickname legendaries.
Yeah.
As a rule, because I just don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But we nicknamed. We had our team. Our final team consisted of Washington, the Umbreon, Tegucigalpa, the Espeon.
Yes.
We called her Tegusi throughout most of the playthrough because I couldn't fit Tegucigalpa.
Yep.
The whole thing in there, so we just made a nickname.
Yeah.
Wellington, the Ampharos, Entei, Rabat,
the Flygon.
And then hold on. Wash, Tegusi, Entei, Wellington, Rabat, and the MVP, the Master of Ceremonies,
DJ Doa. And then I guess Entei's nickname was Hot E.
Yes. So we nicknamed Entei Hottie. We basically made this whole thing. We made it was like a joke. It was like based off a random joke that like Michael made when we were battling in the Cypher headquarters.
Yep.
And we were like, we just went with it. We made this whole backstory about Hottie and DJ Doa being like the hot artists off the label EQ. They're dropping their new album, and everyone who was on our team was like part of their like tour crew. It was like, I think Oslo, who's the Atari we had on our team for a little while there. She was like the publicist or the PR person, or she was a dancer. I think who was the publicist? Someone was the publicist on our team. Who was it? Who was the well, you know what? Well, actually, it was Rhodey. Who was the marketing person, the PR person?
It must have been Rabat.
Oh, okay.
No, wait.
But wasn't? Oh yeah, no. It was Rabat because Wash and Taguchi were the founders. They were the record label people, and then Hottie and DJ Doa are the rappers. So yeah, I guess Rabat was the publicist.
Yeah.
The PR manager, and then the roadie.
Yes.
So yeah. Well, everyone was the roadies, but like he's the head roadie.
Yeah.
She was the head roadie. Everyone who was in the box were the normie roadies.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really funny bit. And Doa was one of the strongest on our team.
Yes.
Wellington was actually really good too. She kicked a lot of ass and also took a lot of names. So
yes.
I did not give Wellington enough credit, but she did well for herself. I think the weakest link was probably Wash. I think that isn't really Wash's fault. I think it's because his moveset was just really weak.
Yeah.
I think if he had like Crunch, I think we would have been way more solid.
Yeah.
Or if he had like more status moves that we could use to like make use of his more utility set.
Yes.
But that wasn't really the case. So what you gonna do? But yeah. I think our team was really great. I think it had a lot of character. I think we had a lot of fun, and I mean that's what I really like about Pokemon. Honestly, I think at the end of the day, to me, the MVPs are always the Pokemon, and if you can make a good team and you have a lot of fun with it, and it's like just a great time, and you really remember your team, then I think that's kind of the hallmark of a great Pokemon game.
Yes.
Like, even to this day, I still remember the first Pokemon team I ever built, and there are lots of Pokemon that I remember using and having a great time with. So yeah. DJ Doa, an eternal star in my heart.
Indeed.
So yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to talk about with this game. Also the box art for this game is a lie. It features Groudon and Kyogre very prominently on the box art, but you cannot actually obtain Kyogre and Groudon in the game, which is such a lie.
Yes.
I'm sure they did it. Oh, sorry. I'm sure they did it because Groudon and Kyogre were the new hotness at the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's just you got to promote your mascot legendaries, but
yeah.
Still, also, I just love how, because I'm comparing the Japanese box art to the American box art, and I love how the Japanese box art focuses on the Pokemon, and then on the American box art, you just have Wes's, like, weird pancake face, like, staring at you.
Yep.
Like, in the background, like, yeah, man. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm here.
But it's just really funny to me. I guess the American box art thought that people wouldn't buy this game if they didn't know that there was a rad edgelord involved.
Yeah, apparently.
Which is weird because, like, most other Pokemon games, it's literally just the Pokemon are featured. Like, no, there's no humans on the cover, so.
Yeah.
IDK, man.
I don't know.
But, okay. Is there anything else? Anything else you want to talk about? Maybe could you speak a little more to the post-game content? Is that any good? Because we didn't play it in our playthrough.
I mean, there's another Colosseum you get to unlock. There's a few extra challenges that you have to go through. There's a little more plot. Most of it, though, is finishing purifying shadow Pokemon, and
Mhm.
going through the whole of Mount Battle, 100 battles straight through.
Wow.
So,
Mm.
yeah. That is really all there is. It kept me entertained for quite a while. Uh,
Nice.
yeah. And if you beat all of Mount Battle and have all Shadow Pokemon caught and purified, then you can get yourself a free Ho-Oh.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
that Ho-Oh that like blew up Advice's helicopter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just like cool, thanks. I cool, thanks. Now I can be on your team. I don't
Nice.
know. Yeah, so
So
post game, I mean, like, again, stuff to do. There's a little post game story. Got a couple more shadow Pokemon to catch.
mm.
Um, but not too much.
Okay. Do you think it's the right amount of post game, or could it have used a little more?
I mean, for how long I guess they expected you to play the main story, I think it's comparably good. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Fair enough.
yeah. It could be better. But
Yeah.
really, the best post game stuff for Colosseum is XD, Gale of Darkness.
You're really pushing that, huh?
Look, yes.
Hey, I'm down to play that game.
Yeah.
With you.
Yeah, you better be.
Or without you. Whichever way. With or without you. Okay, I'm gonna stop singing. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't speak to the post game.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about? I mean, I don't know. I think we covered most of it.
Yeah. Question for you. Would you play through this game again?
Oof. Maybe. I might play the post game.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see myself playing through it again potentially. I think this is where the whole limited Pokemon options comes into play here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the fact really the only other options would be like maybe I change my starter and build a team. I didn't even end up using the starter they gave me.
Yep.
So like, would I have used?
Well,
Kulava?
you chose which starter to get. It was just
I did.
You chose the wrong one.
I chose the wrong one. You said.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Now that I know that Quagsire's in the game, I might have chosen like I don't know. Maybe I would switch out like Entei with Quilava.
Yeah.
Have a Typhlosion.
Yeah. Because I remember you said I want to try to
team.
use Croconaw because I've never used the Totodile in a playthrough. And then Quagsire came along. I'm like, well, goodbye, Croconaw.
Look, Feraligatr is not a bad Pokemon. It's just like Quagsire is so good. And look, DJ Dell would not exist if I didn't throw Croconaw under the bus. So
yeah.
Honestly, I think it was worth it. Nice. I sound so mean. Okay. But personally, I think I would to me, I think I don't know. I mean, I might, but it's not like with like other Pokemon games where like I'd be totally down to play it again because like I could make a new team, I could do something different, I could challenge myself I could like impose rules on myself and have a lot more fun because there's like a lot more options for team building.
Yeah.
Now it is possible for me to do that with Colosseum 2. Like maybe I decide I play it only I like don't use like I only use certain Pokemon or I try to limit myself some way or I do a Nuzlocke challenge, although that would be super tough in this game.
Yeah.
I mean it would be possible, but like I guess if it were a Nuzlocke I might do it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it doesn't entice me for a replay, at least to play it again from the beginning as it does another Pokemon game. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, but that's not to say it was I didn't enjoy my time or that I thought it was a bad game. Like, sometimes with a game, some games like you play once and that's not all you need.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't need to revisit them, but other games you want to revisit them over and over again.
Yeah.
This one I wouldn't not play it again, but I also am not like particularly eager to play it again, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. I'm very neutral toward it.
Yeah.
Put it that way. What about you? Would you play this game again?
Yes.
I figured that would be your answer.
Yeah. It was good fun. It was good fun.
And then other question. What do you think was the biggest challenge in this game? Like, what do you think was like the big moment, the big like, oh my god, this is so tough moment?
Fighting Dakeem the first time with the Entei. That's just like, oh, there's an Entei. And literally every member of his team uses Earthquake and Entei does not know Protect.
Yeah.
That was so unfortunate that first time.
That was very unfortunate. But I don't know. I don't think that battle was particularly tough. I think we just got bad luck with that one.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
I think we were able to beat him.
Oh, right. The tough one. The tough one was first time against Mirabi.
Mirabi was so rough. That was such a rough battle.
Yeah.
That was such a long game. Actually, now that I think about it, we never got a game over while we were playing it.
No. Well, no.
I don't think we did.
No, we did.
Did we?
Technically with the Dakeem battle because we reset to try to catch Entei.
Right, but we didn't in game. We didn't ever lose all of our Pokemon and have to.
I don't think so.
Go to the Pokemon Center.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I guess if we did, it was probably while we were grinding or something.
Yeah.
But not during a significant battle, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Personally, I thought the most toughest fights were Mirabi was very annoying, and I also think Evice was pretty tough. We won, which honestly I think we both, because I watched our finale and we both were like, oh, we're gonna lose.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yes.
We were both like, oh, this is not going well because Entei, because freaking. His Slaking comes out the gate with an Earthquake, and then Entei bites the dust, and we're like, oh no, one of our strong hitters is down. But we managed to do it. We managed to beat him, which was, I think, really good. I think it made for a really great finale, which you should watch, by the way.
Yeah. Indeed.
If you're not gonna watch any of the rest of the playthrough, at least please watch the finale, just because I think it's actually legitimately a really tense fight. Yeah.
But I will link the entire playlist in the end credits of this video.
Yes, please do. Please watch it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun playing it, and I'd say if you want just the highlight reel, I'd say the best episodes to watch would be any of the ones we fight off against a boss fight. So the one against Dakeem, the one against Venus, the one against Ein. Those sort of tougher fights.
Yeah.
Mirabi, the one with Mirabi in it. I'd say the episode titled Hot E and DJ Doa. Watch that because that's where you get to know the extended backstory if you want it. If you want to know what the extended backstory is.
Yeah.
So those episodes were fun. I mean, there's a bunch of episodes that have funny quips in them, but if you just wanted the more exciting ones, then I'd say any of the ones where we fight against a boss would be the one to go to.
Yeah.
But also, if you can, watch the whole playthrough because that would help us out a lot too.
It would. It very much would.
Really appreciate it.
It would be very much appreciated.
Yep.
But I think that's all we have to say on this.
Yeah, I think we've said our piece.
Yeah. So we did Pokemon Colosseum on RDSJ Gaming. That was a lot of fun, and we'll be doing Pokemon Sword and Shield as soon as we can get it up once it comes out.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Yep. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Fingers crossed the Monday after the games come out, but that's not a promise.
Yes. We're gonna try our best.
Yeah.
We may not succeed, but we're gonna try.
But yeah. But, as always, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SoundJack426. And you can also check out my Ko-fi account if you want to help support the channel or check out any of my commissions. And Alyssa, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at The Rational Dove. Feel free to at me about all of your, I don't know, Pokemon grapes.
Yeah.
whatever you want to say, I guess.
Yeah. And
still be mean about it, okay?
Yeah.
Still be mean.
And
still be that guy.
And with that said, thanks for tuning in. This is SoundJack and Alyssa signing off.